morning, students, whoever have joined. Can you start texting in the chat box and see it goes like this. I will be doing my bit of talking, and in between, whenever you would want to talk or you would want to see, if at all without voice, if you would want to raise some questions, you can type in the chat box. I would answer from there. And if at all you would want to talk, you can raise your hand so that we can allow you to speak and give your questions whatsoever. By the way, I'm Sosin. I hope you all know me. I would love to actually see you on the screen. Whoever is attending the workshop, I would really would want to. You can switch on your video cam, and perhaps I can also get to see who is attending. Yeah, good morning. And see, we are actually talking to you at a time when the world is facing a different kind of situations. I mean, we see that a part of the country is facing the problem of cyclone. I mean, if at all you come from that region, I heartily welcome you, and our heart goes to the problems that you are facing. On the other hand, we also have something that is really, really interesting happening in the other part of the world, where this particular relationship with the country of Canada, this has raised the Indian flag. I mean, the kind of diplomatic victory that we had experienced, I mean, this is tremendous. On the other hand, we also see our diplomatic victory on the other side, where something that has been going on behind the scenes, long-term discussions that we were having, ultimately coming into the beautiful moment. Now we have our neighbor with whom we are seeing good relations to emerge. It's not simply the border, but so many other things are going to change now. So this is one. Right now, I have to tell you this, that I'm on my work schedule with China. There are several things that I'm trying to do here. Three major things I'm trying to work on. One is the national and cultural character studies of China. Yeah. Let me come back to you. Yeah, somebody has a raised hand. Let me allow you in. Who is that? Who raised the hand? Whoever has raised the hand, who is that? Can you once again, if at all you could raise the hand again, I will try to allow you in. Yeah, maybe perhaps I'll come back on that because I didn't see who that person is. Is it Dasari, Chaitanya Dasari? Are you asking to have a permission to ask a question? Okay, let me continue with my talk. Okay. Somebody was actually raising the hand, so anyways, I was making a mention that right now I'm on my assignment. Right now I'm on my assignment. So your batch is really, really, I mean, going to be very lucky because I'll be in a position to show you and do a lot of things right from this region of China. This particular batch, which I am going to have a live telecast, I mean, my classroom is getting ready. Within a couple of days, my classroom will be ready for the online students. Yeah, I was saying this, that is my work now here is basically on three fronts, namely the national and cultural character studies. This is one topic on which I'm trying to work on. And then there are a couple of other things, story of human origins, because this is a region that is considered to be very important from the human origins point of view. And also, I am trying to work on the ethnographic study of Chinese society with the focus on freedom and religion. Uh, so let me begin by asking certain questions. I would want the members to respond actually. I mean, so that I'll also know that you are actually listening to me. It's not simply that you have turned on the channel and simply doing your stuff. It's not like. Can you tell me what freedom is for you? I mean, if at all you could say orally, it is pretty much fine. Or maybe perhaps if you could type in the chat box. Yes, Yashwant. Where is Yashwant? Team members, whoever are there, kindly take care of this hand raising and try to allow them to ask questions, please. Ashwant, do you want to ask a question? Yeah, I was saying this, that is, what in your opinion is freedom? As an Indian who might have lived rather a very free life all along, absence of restrictions to do anything is something that is really puzzling. Yeah? Because I always believe that our freedom ends where others' nose starts. Complete, complete freedom to do anything that you want. Because if you are allowed freedom, others' freedom might be compromised. So, giving freedom is something that is really a challenging thing for the governments. Everything, yeah, that's true, within the limitations of constitution. Yeah, that's a good one. So constitution is something that sets limits to, and anybody else. Go ahead. I would love to see what you know of freedom. Venkat, Viresh, Vaibhav, Thiru, Sri, Sai Kiran, Sai, no. This is Ruplata, Sandeep, Neeraj, Kavya. Go ahead. I mean, talk, respond, ask questions. So I was asking this question, those of you friends who have joined right now. I was asking, what in your opinion is freedom? I am sure all of us have experienced freedom. We might not be knowing that we have freedom, because freedom was something that was given to us just like a gift, uh, free gift. I mean, the word free gift looks to be ridiculous, but then you have free gift. I tell you, this is something that is very beautiful experience that I had in one of the interviews that I was conducting with somebody in China. So I was talking to a couple of them on this issue, a lady and a man. So they were like, they were trying to describe what freedom according to them is. Can you imagine? One of them was saying this, that freedom is like being able uh, to go through the Google and internet without any restrictions. They would want to read and they would want to know what is happening in the other side of the globe. That is freedom for them. So you can understand what kind of freedom that we are enjoying in our country. And for the other person, it's like everything that they have here, every penny that goes and every move of them is known to the higher authorities in the government. There is nothing like a privacy. Every aspect of them is in the public. There is nothing like private for them. So for them, there should be some space that can be called privacy. Right to privacy is also a human right, if you know. Can you imagine? Somebody was, after long discussion, somebody was saying this, that I cannot imagine what I want in the name of freedom, because we never have seen what freedom is. So we cannot even imagine what a freedom can be. Can you understand that? I mean, really, really, a painful statement. And I thought, I mean, that statement alone paid off all my travel bills and everything. Now, that's really tremendous. When I'm saying all this, for me as an anthropologist, uh, this particular field study has opened new horizons in my mind, and I personally had started to look at things in a very different perspective. So that's the reason why I'm saying this, that your batch is going to be really, really special for me, because a lot of first-hand detailed things I am able to do for you, and your syllabus has got a whole lot of archaeology, and this archaeology is something that is going to be largely helpful for your exam. And from the archaeology's point of view, the kind of site references that we generally study in anthropology, when I'm going to talk to you from those sites, that is going to give a lot more practical orientation. I mean, the first-hand kind of information that you are going to get. I'm really, really blessed that God gave me this opportunity to work from this particular region in the world. Yeah. And in the meantime, team members, whoever are there, can you kindly upload in the chat box the syllabus document? I hope some team member is following up with us. Kindly, yeah, thank you so much, whoever is there. Now, friends, whoever have joined, can you quickly give the list of inquiries that you have? Meaning, you might have walked into this workshop with some kind of questions about the subject, some kind of clarifications that you needed, so that we can begin with them. And I do my own talking parallelly. So before, as you keep writing your questions and all, let me keep speaking on these things. So basically, I have been teaching anthropology for more than a couple of decades. So, I mean, it's like, by the way, how many of you are from non-Telugu region? Can you say by yes and no? Non-Telugu region, so people from outside the Telugu lands. Can you say once again, Thiru? Can you frame your question properly? Were or where? Uh, yeah, Maharashtra. Good, 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 good. Mm, components. Okay, okay, okay. So I will keep answering these questions. So somebody is asking where to attend the classes. Classes you will be attending on your portal, sir. You'll be attending on your portal. We will be uploading the classes. So as was communicated to you, from November 14th, we will be launching the live batch. Online will commence from 20th of November. Live batch will start from November 14th. So you will be having early in the morning, because several students have been asking for this, that before their other classes start or before they go to the job, etc., they should be, having a session. So 7 o'clock India time, you are going to have your session. So 7 o'clock to 9:30, 2.5 hours, you will have 5 days a week. So you will be given a portal access. From there, we will be uploading the timetable on a weekly basis, and there you are going to attend your classes. I hope your question is clearly answered. And Pawan, full name I do not know, is asking want to know the components. A good answer, yeah, definitely. We will talk about that, Pawan. That is going to be one of the things. And some other questions here. How to start? I'm also scrolling for the benefit of the others. Hmm, how to start? Will the online batch also be live? Will there be facility to ask questions then and there in the class? And the option is coming from arts background. Yeah, good questions. Good questions. And then pursuing degree in distance and simultaneously taking coaching for civils. Attend this session by the suggestion of Malika Madam, who did geography. Not sure what optional to go with. It would be helpful for me if you could suggest. Great. Grahisha. New name. So the question still here I will be taking up. Okay. Then we will. So basically, let me begin with this. One of you have asked this, so don't shy away from asking, even if you'd want to raise your voice and ask a question, that is pretty much fine. Now, yeah, one question that you had asked us, if this optional subject is suitable for people coming from the arts background. Let me say this. This is a subject that is seen as the youngest social science. So much later to several other subjects were born. This came into existence late in the early in the 19th century. Now, irrespective of your background, you can take the subject. See, basically speaking, in the UPSC, when they have given 20 odd optionals, they never gave a specification that people from this background alone are allowed to take this particular subject. It all depends on your comfort. You might have come from mathematics, but suppose you are very much confident and do things in medical science, you are pretty much okay. I mean, for the sake of it. But then arts related subjects are those that fill your entire general studies, is it not? Except for the science technology related things, most of the subjects are arts related subjects only. And so when it comes to anthropology, this is considered to be social science, though there is some part of it which is called biological anthropology, which is not a true biology, basically. You are actually trying to see what, from the sociological angle, things are being done. We will be seeing the syllabus, and then I hope it must have been uploaded by now. Did we upload, sir? Where are we uploading the syllabus document, or is it that we are sending to the students by mail or message? Is something like that? This is a question for the team. Have we uploaded the syllabus document? Okay, kindly do that so that the students will start looking into the syllabus document. And so basically, irrespective of your background, you will be in a position to take the subject and excel. What I generally see is that more than 60% of the students actually come from the non-arts background, actually, meaning from engineering background. The 10 to 15% of people come from the medical science, and of late I see the increase in the people coming from the arts background. Previously, it was about 20% or so. Now it is much more than that. So irrespective of, in fact, to say that the kind of theoretical understanding that arts people have, I mean, that can give them the necessary strength to do so. And let me go to the other questions. So live batch will be starting on 14th of June, 14th of November, wherein you will be allowed to ask questions as the class is going on, and I will be clarifying the doubts. Apart from this, we will also be having a doubts clarification session. Suppose you are joining an online batch. For the online students, weekly doubts clarification sessions will be there based on the requirement minimum of one, and based on the requirement of the student, more than one sessions. Everybody together will be there. And apart from that, you'll have an opportunity to text your questions to the team so that they can give you answers seeking from me. And also that suppose you have good lot of questions to ask and discuss, you can get a call from the office. You can arrange a call from the office, and then you can get it done. Somebody has also asked this question, how to start? That's actually a $1 million question. So let me say this to you because we are making this workshop more conversational thing. For this, I need to be having the syllabus document with me. Yeah, I think now it is uploaded in the group. You can actually check with that document. Let me also show on the screen to you, those of you. So here is the uh, document where you could actually see that is today's date, and for your sake, I'm the person here talking to you, the batch beginning on 14th of November. And yeah, if you look at the syllabus, this is what is the syllabus, how it looks like. Most of you must have gone through the syllabus already. So this is paper 1, which has chapter 1, that is the biggest one, which we generally call it general anthropology for that matter, going from 1.1 to 1.8. So out of this, the whole lot of things are there in archaeology and fossil studies. So as we go into the class, we will see from time to time, how many marks each chapter has given, which are the chapters that are going to do really good for us. So keep your document ready because I need not have to go through the document. It is for your sake. I have asked them to upload the document. As and when I will ask you to go through the document, you can parallelly go through. So coming back to that question, where to begin and how to begin, I give a suggestion to you that we must always begin with anthropological theory. If we are beginning with anthropological theory, the entire understanding of the subject will be much, much easier for you. But then suppose you are coming from non-arts background, it might look to be slightly difficult for you that, okay, how is it that I'm going to study the theories, etc. But believe me, the entire 20 years of experience that I have had, I saw that students might find it slightly difficult in the first 1 week of learning because every subject that you are studying for the first time, the first few days are going to be really challenging, but then you'll have to have that confidence, and then you'll have to, abide by your commitment to the exam. Then you will be in a position to go through. So it's always better you begin with anthropological theory, then you can perhaps go in with the other kind of topics in that sequence. Okay. I hope that answer convinced the person who had asked. Yeah, this is somebody called Ruplata. Ruplata. I hope it is clear. Online batch live questions, I have answered that. So is arts background also, I had answered. Somebody saying this, I'm pursuing degree in distance and simultaneously. Yeah, you see, Grahisha, somehow, so let me say this, every subject in UPSC has got its own benefits. I mean, the exam, the UPSC picks up the subjects, gives the subjects um, based on different kinds of subjects that are being taught in the universities. But when it comes to selecting a subject for UPSC, the major thing that we have to keep in mind is that there are 5 things. One is that, yeah, it should be scoring. Second thing is you should be able to understand the subject. So if I'm coming, say, from the core literature background, and I'm asked to study mathematics, I don't think that will be. So I should be able to understand and comprehend things. Thirdly, there has to be the availability of material. And fourthly, there has to be somebody who can evaluate your papers, who can give you that kind of a feedback. And fifthly, you should be able to sustain your interest in the subject. These are the 5 principles that I generally look at. And as far as anthropology is concerned, it is possible for you to get that conceptual clarity in the basic minimum time. And I'm pretty much confident about my own way of communicating the concepts with the student, because I always consider giving conceptual clarity as the most important thing to the student. So, with that strength of concepts, you will be in a position to answer the questions in the way the examiner expects from you. And it has been God's grace that most of the areas that I cover on an annual basis, it's not that the same thing we go on doing. Several concepts might be same, but then what can be asked for this year's exam, that I will have to do the exercise in a proper manner. So by God's grace, we had been able to predict the questions in areas. More than 90 to 95% of the questions that come in the exam in that year might have been explained in the exam in the class. And also that it has been again God's grace that this subject had been giving that respectable scores to the students who have been abiding by the rules of the subject. I mean, you have, every subject has got its own chemistry, right? Follow the rules that are to be followed in every subject, then you are able to do it. So I think to that extent, it has been really helpful. And trust me, if you are putting your effort, I'm always there for you to help you, to pull you through that difficult time, etc. Yeah, I hope I have answered, irrespective of whether And sources I will be mentioning very shortly, or maybe perhaps let me give you the sources here. See, first and foremost thing for your exam from me will be your class. And when you are attending in the online mode, uh, if it is a live class, I mean, we are fixing the slot, and at that slot you are sitting and doing. If you're doing in the online mode, you'll have to have that discipline of fixing your time and sitting at the desk. And if you are in the live, you're not going to stop me. I will be doing my class at my pace, and you'll be following me. If you're doing in the online mode, do not try to pause, do not try to stop the class midway through, do not try to extend the time of the class. That is not really encouraging. You'll have to finish the class on that same day in that particular time format. That is very, very important. So first source is going to be your class note. In the first class, I am going to tell you how exactly you are going to write your notes. I mean, what has to be written, how the running note has to be maintained, and all that I will be giving you information in the first. So the first major source, whoever might have cleared the exam, the major source is going to be the class notes, with a lot of dependence on the running note. It is not simply the one that I'm dictating, but the running note is very, very important, because several questions, more than 25% of questions, come from the casual discussions that we have in the classroom, and hence nothing has to be neglected in that sense. And I thoroughly enjoy the questions from the student. As long as the students are asking questions, I will be able to give in a much better presentation to you. So I always believe that a teacher's performance depends on the student's performance. You keep asking questions, challenge the teacher should actually go back, refer, study, and come back. So first and foremost thing is going to be your notes that you're writing in the classroom. Initially, you might find it difficult to match with the speed of dictation, etc. But you will eventually appreciate, you'll be really, really happy in the exam when you attempt your questions. Second thing is going to be the PDFs that I'm going to give to you, the latest publications, whatever must have come in various journals or papers, books, etc. Those PDFs are going to be extremely useful to you. You may actually consult your seniors, it varies from batch to batch. In some batches, I might have given 50, 60 PDFs, in some a little more or less, etc. You will be downloading those PDFs, and you will be writing the short note on those PDFs that I'm going to give to you. This is going to be the second most important source that you're going to study. Third is going to be Let me show you something there. Third is going to be, so basically, you will be receiving these books. This is the book with the previous, questions, etc. It will be changed from year to year based on the questions that we are going to add. And then you have other set of books. For example, this one is on tribal anthropology. These are some books that you are supposed to do from cover to cover. This is tribal anthropology. Another book you're going to get is on social anthropology. And you have biological anthropology, physical anthropology, or biological anthropology. You have the book on Indian society. And so these are some books. So tribal, social, physical, you have archaeology. I think that the archaeology book is not displayed here. So five major books I'm going to give to you along with the previous exam references. So these are the should and must for you. And after, generally what I see is once these three sources are thoroughly done, these are the three sources that you should be thoroughly doing: class note, PDFs, and the books that I'm going to give to you, the printed books. Over and above that, if somebody is really willing to go for any kind of additional books, some of the books that I can show here will be, these are not mandatory though. You can perhaps have a list of these. Anyways, once you are joining the course, you will be given the list of books to refer to. So what we see in this list of books is there is one dictionary which we generally suggest for you to have whenever you are doing a new subject. It is always significant that a dictionary has to be there. And yeah, this is the other book. I'm sorry, placement of the book slide was slightly. So archaeological anthropology, this is one more book from our side. And you have the other books like Ember. Ember has been a traditional book, though about 4 to 5 years ago I stopped recommending this, but people keep asking, can we go back? So perhaps, yeah, as a reference. This is one more reference book, that is Skupin's Anthropology, Skupin and Decour's Book of Anthropology. Anthropology, a global perspective. And I hope you have this habit of writing down things. Whoever is attending the workshop, I'm pretty much sure you are sitting with your pen and paper so that whatever inputs that I'm giving you are writing down. That's very, very important. Do not have a casual kind of an orientation, because you are sitting here with that huge task of getting through the exam, getting into the civil services. So that is not a small task. You'll have to keep noting down things. And this is another book, Ram Ahuja's Indian Social System, something that I recommend as a general reading. May not be cover to cover, but then yes, you can perhaps go through. And then you have another book, Indian Society by R.K. Sharma, though the titles are closely connected. But then there are so many variations in these two books. So Indian Society by R.K. Sharma, another one. You have the popular writer M.N. Srinivas. Most of his writings are put together in this particular book called Collected Essays by Dr. M.N. Srinivas. This is another reference book that we give to the student, recommend to the students. And then we have Tribal Cultures of India by Vidyarthi and Roy. This is a Bible actually, which you will not be purchasing. None of these books you are going to purchase till I ask you to do anything later. And there are the other books. One is Das, Physical Anthropology, Outline of Physical Anthropology by B.M. Das. This is one other book. You have the other ones like Tribal Administration and Development by Deogankar. This is also an interesting book with several tribal examples. Tribal Administration and Development by Deogankar. I hope you are noting down the names of the books. This is one more, Population Studies by Hansraj C. None of the books you are purchasing now. Don't later say that, madam, you have told us in the workshop. See, these are all the books that are stock books, I mean, used as the reference books whatsoever. But first and foremost is you should be thorough with the class, you should be thorough with the PDFs and the material that I'm going to provide to you. Over and above that, these things would come. Like, K.K. Mishra's textbook of anthropological linguistics. So, where exactly, in which part of the syllabus these books are going to be useful, that we will be discussing in the classroom. This is the textbook of anthropological linguistics by Dr. K.K. Mishra. And then we have another book. This is also very, very important for a student to have in his desk. That is an outline of Indian prehistory by Dr. Bhattacharya. Outline of Indian Prehistory by Dr. D.K. Bhattacharya. And then you have several journals. One of them I'm trying to show you. Many more journals we will be talking about in the class. That is Man in India, one of the earliest journals, initiated by Indian anthropologists. So this is one such book. So as I was saying, these are some of the references. I hope I have given the required answer to you. Is it? Let me go to the other questions. So, Ruplata, I think you are happy with the answer. How can I get a very good knowledge as well as good marks? And so, first and foremost is you should be very, very clear of your concepts. Do not think that I will pick up some random notes that is available in the market and then I would get the high scores in selection. It's not like that. You have to learn it in a proper way, which one to come first, which one later, and having that conceptual clarity, ability to express those concepts in the writing. And you should also be able to understand which topics have to, say, for example, archaeology for that matter. Year to year, we see a minimum of 170 to 190 marks being asked from archaeology. If somebody is not studying archaeology, I generally say that you need not have to go to the exam. So you should be pretty much clear about which chapters are going to be asked in the exam. So from there you have to, and then perhaps every sub chapter, every sub branch of anthropology has got its own ways of writing. So based on the kind of question that is asked, how exactly you're going to frame your answer. So the technique of framing the answer, you'll have to learn. So that is going to be the class discussion. Any provision of attending classes offline? Right now I'm not there. I will be traveling from Beijing to India, and whenever I'm there in India, perhaps we will try to send a word to you where you can come and sit in the classroom. But then this season, because I have the work to do here, I am doing in the live mode, in the online mode. But yeah, I'm trying to reduce the distance between yourself and me as much as possible. We will be thoroughly encouraging questions, thoroughly encouraging calls and doubt sessions, etc. And see, one more interesting thing is you should be writing so when I'm taking the classes and all, I have this habit of giving a lot of questions to attempt, because at the end of the day, uh, attempting questions is something that is very, very important. So I'm very much particular that my student attempts the questions, and you'll have the provision of sending, even if a single question you're writing, keep sending to our front desk. They will direct the answers to me, because you see, as a part of your course, you will have this provision of attempting the assignments, attempting the tests, etc. So tests you will be uploading on the portal. Assignments, there is no provision on the portal to upload. But then you see, whoever is enterprising, industrious, if you are writing answers, you would want to show to me and take the feedback. I thoroughly encourage you to send your answers so that I can see you back and I take care of your good score. I hope that is clear to you. How many months are sufficient enough to complete the whole syllabus? See, Mansi, When I'm saying that this much of time is sufficient, I'm keeping in mind that as long as the course is going on, parallelly you're doing your study. Because I have seen some of the students who simply attend the class and after the course is done, they would begin the study. Don't do it that way. As the course goes on, your preparation should be complete. So it's like, suppose you're attending a class of 2.5 hours, for example. Classes are going to be thoroughly power packed. Uh, you need to give your complete attention to the class. Um, and this is going to be, I mean, this is generally very, very important for an online student that you should have that undivided attention. So maybe perhaps you're putting your headphone or whatsoever, but then you'll have to see to it that you give your complete attention. And as the course is going on, I give you certain homeworks, I ask you to read certain things and write the synopsis of it. All this you'll have to take in, and then including the tests, etc. A minimum of 4.5 to 5 months becomes necessary to get a reasonable command over the subject, and after that, continuous writing. So writing has to be a cardinal part of your preparation. Only then I can confidently say that within 5 months of time you'll have that confidence of taking on the exam. More or less, this would be the same case with most of the optional subjects. Always, let me say this once again, friends, that you are not supposed to neglect writing right from the beginning. See, in the first 1 week to 10 days, I may not be giving you much of writing because I'll be introducing a lot of vocabulary. Because initially, I try to build the vocabulary of the student related to the subject. Because once the vocabulary reasonable amount of vocabulary I have given to you, then I will be able to start talking to you in the subject. I hope you understand. ऐसा है ठीक है. I hope it's clear, Mansi. Then somebody called Kshitij. Will there be a class open to all? Class open to all? Free to all classes generally, I don't think I'm there at that stage, free to all classes, because enough of information is available in the YouTube also. So many, talks are there from me. So I don't think I would be doing that. I mean, that depends again on the organization, but generally there is nothing like free to all because I know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. Generally, um, Ruplata, whenever you are starting to prepare for the exam, it is necessary that you finish your optional first because the time between the prelim and main is very, very narrow. You will not be able to do much. So 1.5 years before the preliminary exam, if you're planning, initially it's always advisable to finish your optional subject. Then you start your general studies, and optional will in small doses be revised as long as you are doing your general studies also. But suppose you did not do that, parallel to your general studies, you should be able to complete your optional subject. Then the load is going to be quite huge. But then there is no choice. There is no choice. So do not keep these things pending to sometime in the future, because once you finish your classes, one bit of one cycle of reading and writing, you should be progressively enhancing the quality of your writing, expression, revision, and all that stuff. So no time is early in UPSC to begin. Please introduce myself. Oh my goodness. My introduction is going to be eating away a lot of time. Basically, I'm the teacher here. I teach anthropology to you. Uh, so, uh, Venkat, if you need any specific other kind of things about me, you may ask in the chat box. I'll give you the details that you need. Uh, Basically, here, as far as your exam is concerned, I have been teaching anthropology for more than 2 decades, and and God has been gracious enough for giving me the opportunity to help students. More than 1,600 students have secured the service who have attended classes with me in general studies and in anthropology. More than that, if you would want to know a bit about me, generally I give the introduction of myself in the first session. But yeah, if you want more, you can write in the chat box. I will try to dedicate some time to talk about myself, because this session is majorly about talking about the subject and not about myself. But then you insist, yeah. This is slightly, offbeat kind of a thing, attending my workshop and then you're asking me to introduce myself. Yeah, I mean, this looks likely, but then, yeah, interesting. It's Dilip, Ember is only a part of the subject. It is not the whole thing. In fact, for the conceptual clarity, various other things have to be kept in mind. I mean, so there are a whole lot of Indian society related concepts and various others. Ember definitely is going to help you in certain ways, but we don't say that sufficient kind of. All that way to send answers and all that will be uploaded, provided to you. Whatever information will be given to you as you get enrolled, and way to upload your answers, how to send, they'll be giving information to you. Ignore study material, you can refer. Need a scoring in anthropology, question mark. I know this generation doesn't write the questions in detail. Yeah, it has been a very beautiful subject, which is dependable, which has been pushing people's scores well above. Yeah, it has been, thankfully, and huge lot of statistics are available in the open source. You must have already gone through. Dictionary, one dictionary would be sufficient. How many will you buy one dictionary? These days, students are not buying even those dictionaries. How to learn basics? There is nothing like basic, Bharat. As you study the each chapter, so initially, first 1 week to 10 days, we are going to focus on the vocabulary. After that, when we are going into respective chapters, every topic for that matter, say, if I'm talking about economic anthropology, as a part of economic anthropology, certain basic vocabularies may be there, but then we don't say something as the basics. There are certain things that we understand once we come to the conclusion of the subject, that, okay, these are the characteristics of the subject, but we cannot talk about them as basics in the first 1 week or whatsoever. So there is nothing like basics. As we go into each of the chapters, we will be talking from the very scratch to the contemporary applications. I hope I have communicated to you. You can keep writing your questions. In the meantime, let me talk about certain other things. So I was mentioning this, that there are a few things that are mandatory for you to do. For example, I call them the tenfold path, like the eightfold path that you have. So these are the 10 major things that form part of our program. One is that, as I told you, your running note, your dictation, these two are mandatory. Then we have the printed note. We do take up the doubts clarification sessions. And then what I would be doing is on almost every day after 10 days of launching of the program, we will be picking up one question from what is going to be expected in the upcoming exams. See, I believe in predicting questions for the future and doing, rather than trying to, discuss the things that are already asked in the exam. So our focus has to be on what could be asked in the future. So those daily discussions we will be doing on answer writing. You have assignments. So after every 20 classes, you are going to get your assignment. Assignment will be discussed, and based on the assignment, test is going to be conducted. And apart from that, we also have something like Anthro News Diary that is being uploaded every day on the website. So the regular inputs related to anthropology are being given in that part, that is Anthropology News Diary. And apart from that, as I was saying a while ago, PDFs, that is, PDFs of the content are going to be provided to you from the latest publications. And of course, some alumni papers, meetings with the alumni, and various other benefits from the alumni you would be able to have. So these are a few things as a part of the program, the 10 major things that are going to benefit you from this particular program. So if I'm starting on November 14th, 5 days a week, kind of, December, Jan, Feb, March. So by the end of March, I should be able to complete your program. So tests will be conducted on Saturdays. We would not be wasting our other sessions. So Saturday we will be uploading on our portal. You are going to download the paper, and then on the sheets that are actually prescribed for you, you are going to attempt your answers on them and submit. And within the prescribed limit of time, I will be evaluating and sending back those scripts to you. And that is going to be a major exercise for you. Because attempting all those tests 100% is very, very important. And it is not an exaggeration to say that most of the people who cleared the exam with us, have been those who were serious with the writing. It's at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? Somebody is writing something here. Sandeep started preparing Anthro previous year. During the process, I lost interest when I had much interest in it. I'm unable to identify that. Why is it so? What should I do? I attended blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to talk anything about the other teachers, no. Basically, sir, anthropology has been sustaining the interest in the student because there is so much of diversity in the subject. So you study archaeology, you study, genetics, you study defense, you study sports, you study Indian society, you study marriage, you study tribe. There is so much of diversity. See, generally what happens is in general studies, if one subject is getting bored, you will switch to the other. Geography, अच्छा थोड़ी देर पढ़ लिया, अभी कुछ और पढ़ो, तो history पढ़ रहे. That kind of a combination is there. So in anthropology, getting bored rarely happens. So what you can perhaps do, Sandeep, is because yours is a very personalized kind of a thing. आप एक बार call कर लीजिए. You mean we can talk to you from the front desk. You can strike a call with them and you can. Class timings, Bharat, morning 7 o'clock is the class, 7 to 9:30. Grahisha. See, any other optional subject, I will not be able to comment anything, Grahisha. It all depends on your personal choice. अगर आपको कुछ personally बात करना है तो phone करके बात कर लीजिएगा. But otherwise, I leave it to the students, discretion to. I won't say that नहीं इसी subject को लेना है, anthro kind of a thing. Every subject has got its own positives and negatives. आपका ना किसी subject के साथ, you get attached to the subject based on various things. Several things influence you. So अगर कहीं आप struck हो किसी चीज के लिए, यहाँ से मैं कैसे जाऊँ, kind of, you kindly talk to me directly. I'll be able to help you. ठीक है? Viresh, case studies and examples, you are not going to study them or by heart them as such. My style of doing is I make you study the entire culture group at one place, or whatever additional things are necessary that we do in the form of stories, etc. So we have our own classical way of doing things. So that's what I'm saying. How to deal with is a magical question. That's what we are going to do in the classroom. Huge confusion, neurologists, it's better to take which. So generally what happens is, Dilip, before you start your general studies, you should be completing your optional. अगर उस तरह से नहीं हुआ, then you are forced to do it together. Because general studies is like, if you are starting once, it is not going to end. It's a continuous process. You should be constantly doing with that. So if at all you miss the bus initially, then you have to do it parallelly. So as the GS is going on for, I think, in between a 4 months or so, you'll be doing both optional and general studies, so that you have the very highly packed schedule. And after that, again, once the option subject is over, then whatever class time that you are giving to the subject, the same thing you'll give to it. And rest of the time, anyway, you are going to have your general studies. I hope I have given you. Vaibhav, it all depends on which case studies and all. If at all you have already studied the subject, you can talk to your teacher. But otherwise, it is not necessary that case study means it should be logical. First of all, you will have to know what is the meaning of case study. People think that all examples are case studies. There are several examples. Out of them, some only qualify to be case studies. Case study is something where you have to find an answer to a question. There is a problem. Say, for example, if you understand this, something happens and you go to a lawyer. Something unusual happened. So you go to the lawyer. That becomes a case. Or see, somebody has got an ailment, an illness, a disease, etc. Then you become a case. So what is happening? An aberration from the normal, some abnormality is happening. Then it becomes a case. Okay. So case studies are where there is a problem and the researcher is trying to understand the reason for the problem. He may or may not suggest a solution. That's how the case study is. In what ways you are talking about this in a logical, illogical way, etc., that is not really known to me. That is to be settled in a case by case format. Okay. So here you are asking a question with unclear description of the content. So, clear logical answer I may not be able to give on this. As such, what I understand is you're confused between case study and an example. In any case, you are to remember in a story format. I think only then you will be in a position to, or maybe thinker based. This thinker had studied these societies, etc. From there, he generated these concepts and these problems he evaluated, kind of a thing. So it should be in that fashion. To get in touch with me, you can contact the front desk, Grahisha. From there, they'll connect them to me. In the case, see, when you are coming to very specifics, when you're coming to very specifics on cockfights itself, I take the entire class wipe off. So you need not have to have logic everywhere. Though we try to say that we are rational people, I think human is the most irrational fellow. So generally what happens is, I mean, as far as your batch is concerned, which I'm going to start on 14th of November, we will be beginning with anthropological theory. And once we do the theory, so it is like, a cyclical manner. One we do in the social sphere, so we will be changing in terms of intensity, in terms of toughness, or in terms of fact and logic, etc. So initially we will be doing with anthropological theory from largely paper one, then we will take you to perhaps archaeology, the one of the most important ones there. Once I do archaeology, I will take you to Indian society. Once I do Indian society, I'll come to applied physical anthropology. Once I do applied physical, I go to tribal anthropology. So there are going to be social, non-social kind of combinations in which we will actually be moving. And always remember, sir, those of you who, I mean, a few of you seem to have done your subject earlier, it should always be like an interconnected way in which you should be preparing for the exam. It is not like, okay, I'm doing paper one and hence let me do paper one alone and then let me shift to paper two, etc. It doesn't happen like that. You should be studying the subject in combination. Suppose I'm doing say racial studies in paper one, you can check with your syllabus document. Those of you who, I mean, I'm sure you have downloaded. It's there in the chat box. So go to chapter 9.5 in paper one. If you go to chapter 9.5 in paper one, we have this description about race, racism, and related topics there. So if at all you are studying race related concepts in your syllabus, you perhaps would begin with 9.5. But then you will also be studying from paper 2. Go to paper 2. In paper 2, you have chapter 2 and chapter 6. Chapter 2 and chapter 6. In both these topics, in both these chapters, you have these terms. Either it is called biogenetic variability, or ethnic variability. So in these terms, biogenetic variability and ethnic variability, we are going to study the racial elements of Indian population. So this must be pretty much known to you that paper 1 is general anthropology, paper 2 is going to be India related. I mean, whichever subject you take, or whichever social science you take, that's the trend. That's the format actually. First paper gives the general one applicable to India and the world. Second paper specifically is about India. But then you also have to remember this, that examiner for the last 2 to 3 years has not been following this kind of format. For the sake of arranging the syllabus, it is still the same. For the sake of studying also to have a basic understanding, yes. But then when you are writing answers, you will have to combine the information from paper 1 and 2. And also remember, in the last 2 to 3 years, UPSC also had been asking questions of paper 2 in paper 1, the core questions, and paper 1 questions are being asked in paper 2. So you cannot say that, see, let me divide and study. That doesn't go that way, especially in anthropology. You cannot say that I will focus on paper 1 and then I'll go to paper 2. Chronologically, I'm going to do. That is not going to happen. I hope I've given some vital information. Any other questions, please? So as you keep writing your questions, let me say some more things. So I was mentioning this, the areas on which I am trying to work. So one of the museums with which I'm getting associated is this one. In China, you have huge number of museums that are well preserved actually. So this is one of the things which is called Zhaokodian Cave, Zhaokodian Museum. And these are various very thoroughly well preserved kind of skulls. Many are there. And then this is called the Zhaokodian Cave basically. As far as your course is concerned, what I look for is you should be able to get the basic concept building. That is what is going to be my major forte. I would want to build your concepts, because understanding concepts is very, very important for attempting your exam. And I generally aim at making the student think from anthropology's perspective. So the inculcating of anthropological thinking is very, very vital, and I'm sure you would love doing this. And I want my student to be self-dependent on writing the exams. I do not believe in the student depending on some model answers from the market. Don't think that examiner doesn't know that. So I want the student to be highly self-reliant. And then I aim at giving the tests and giving the prompt and very valuable feedbacks. So ultimately what is necessary is when you go to the exam, you should be able to take those feedbacks with you. That is my basic agenda there. And somebody has some question. No, prior knowledge in anthropology is not required. See, how many of you have studied history or geography? Somebody, if suppose you're taking sociology, suppose you're taking any other subject. Are you coming with any prior knowledge? You're not coming with the prior knowledge, right? When there is no question there, why the question here? I know. So there's no, so suppose you're taking economics optional, you're not going to go in the field and do economics, practical economics and coming here. No, I don't think so. But yeah, whoever is studying anthropology, I see that in a class of say 100 students are there. Out of 100, at least 10 people would definitely do some course related to anthropology every year. And at 2% of the students go into anthropology field completely. I mean, so that is where I can say that confidently I can say that I have proved myself as a good teacher in anthropology. I am very, very happy about that kind of a work that I've been doing, and I thoroughly enjoy doing that. As somebody was asking in the beginning, introduce yourself. So if I have to introduce myself, I am somebody who believe in enhancing my capabilities of dealing with the subject from time to time. So whenever there is a bracket, I try to fill in the bracket of time with new courses that I study, new researches that I do, both field and academic, library research, etc. I thoroughly enjoy doing that because that is very, very vital for a teacher to be relevant. And without the relevant contemporary kind of a knowledge, we will not be able to guide the student properly. And hence, for the benefit of the student, for the benefit of the information that we are having, we should be upgrading that kind of a knowledge from time to time. But as far as you're concerned, if you are trying to take anthropology as your subject here, the prior knowledge is not required because as you are going to study the subject, you will see huge number of thinkers in anthropology came from the other subjects. They are not somebody who studied anthropology and hence became anthropologists. It's not like that. They eventually got attracted to anthropology and hence they started studying and contributing. So if at all that is the fear that you're having, you need not have to. When you're studying, just studies the whole lot of them without any kind of a prior this thing, I'm sure you'll be. Vaibhav, when you are coming with specific I mean that's coming with an agenda basically. You are coming with certain questions and all. These questions say you are saying what is the scope of cultures? Culture itself has to be defined in different ways. Different thinkers looked at culture from different ways. I mean, that's a whole lot of discussion that goes in. How Taylor described, how Fraser described, how Malinowski discussed about culture, and what are Frederick Bach's boundaries of culture. So I think there's not one simple answer because how culture is to be studied, what comes under culture is the entire description of these four and a half months that we are going to do. If you see the entire syllabus, Vaibhav, economic aspects, political aspects, religion, and every other thing that you are going to do, the ritual, myths, mythology, customs, all these aspects actually become part of your culture, your behavioral aspects, your culinary practices, your language, everything comes as a part of culture. But if culture has to be learned, if culture is inherited, whether it's a combination of one and then all that becomes part of it. So basically, anthropology is a subject that studies culture. So when I'm saying that studies culture, entire subject comes as a part of studying culture, anything more. But unfortunately, see, when you are coming with specifics, they are discussion points of, you know, of specific class. Uh, if I conduct a workshop where random questions you would ask and answers would be given, there it could be. But I think I try to give a basic understanding of what comes under culture. I hope that helps you. And what else? I think one more workshop I would be planning in the first, second week of November, where I will talk something vital, much more close to the subject and all. I mean, in the sense that if how kind of questions are coming, there I will try to throw some light on them. And I will also be conducting webinars, Vaibhav, from time to time on specific topics. You can perhaps join them for some kind of an additional understanding. That should help you out. So that is how things are as of now. As far as timings of the class are concerned, morning 7 o'clock to 9:30. I was insisting my team that whoever is going to attend in the live, let their faces be shown on the screen. Oh, okay, and be cautious while switching on your camera. Don't have those sleepy faces. Uh, yeah, and make it more purposeful, more interactive, because I look at it this way. If at all I'm attending a class today, to how many marks I'm going to get benefited. That has to be the kind of calculation with which you should be attending the classes. So if I say that about 210 to 120 hours I'm going to teach, and in 220 hours I'm going to complete your 500 marks of syllabus. So at any point of time, how many hours I should attend to get this many marks? That calculation has to be very much clear with you. Unless otherwise you do that kind of work, the task of exam is going to be tough. I enjoy talking to you, and I hope you also have got some kind of necessary inputs on 9th of November, I guess, when I have the next workshop. I would give you an orientation towards the syllabus. Those of you who are willing may attend that workshop to see the discussion about the syllabus. So may I close the session with your permission? If at all you have any more questions to ask, you may feel free to ask. And those of you who wanted to talk to me personally can get the call from the front desk, get to talk to me from there. Fee structure, etc. They would be giving you, Chaitanya. I think the team will help out. Whoever is there from the team, kindly communicate to Chaitanya Krishna. Give him or her, I don't know, him or she. Give them the necessary details. Now you try to send the information. Don't ask them to call. You send the information to them. Either call them or text to them. Online classes are also available, Dilip, from 20th of November. So, am I permitted to go, gentlemen, boys, girls? I'm sure you would enjoy the whole process of the classes, because one thing that I aim at is that you should get entertained. That is my primary concern. Second thing is you will have to understand the subject, take the exam, take the content to the exam. Remembering things, reproducing things, presenting in the manner that is required for the exam. These are the things that are going to be the thumb rules of the course. So thank you so very much, everybody, for joining. Looking forward to see you on November 14th. Have a great time ahead. Thank you so much. Love you all. Thank you, team, for being there. Thank you. Have a good time.